In a previous video, we looked at the sci-fi finales fans absolutely hated. But today, we're flipping the script and diving into the ones that stuck the landing so perfectly they became TV legend. These are the finales that made us cry, cheer, and gasp. The episodes that delivered real emotional payoff and made us want to restart the entire series the moment the credits rolled. So let's celebrate the sci-fi shows that got it right, the ones that truly nailed their endings. Sleeping in Light, Babylon 5. Few sci-fi finales hit with the emotional force of Babylon 5's Sleeping in Light. After 5 seasons of war, politics, and character growth, the show closes not with spectacle, but with reflection. We follow an older John Sheridan during his final days of life. He gathers his closest friends for a quiet, heartfelt farewell dinner, knowing his borrowed time is nearly up. What follows is a meditation on friendship and legacy, and that shot of the station blowing up, bittersweet perfection. It's a finale that doesn't just end a story, it honors everything the series stood for. Paradise, Dark. Ending a show as twisty as Dark should have been impossible, but the finale pulls off one of the most poetic conclusions in sci-fi history. Instead of tying itself into even more paradoxes, the episode breaks the cycle entirely by revealing how everything is connected. Jonas and Marta then manage to erase the two worlds from existence, sacrificing themselves to save the origin world. The result is tragic, beautiful, and strangely hopeful. The finale answers the show's biggest questions without over-explaining its mysteries, leaning on raw emotion instead of more timelines. Paradise isn't just a great finale, it's a masterclass in storytelling. The Beginning, Part 2, 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys went from under-the-radar sci-fi drama to one of the most beloved time travel series ever, and its finale seals the deal. The last episode wraps up years of emotional gut punches with a deeply satisfying payoff. Cole finally gets the chance to rewrite history and stop the plague, even if it means erasing himself from all the timelines. But the show gives fans a satisfying ending, with Jones finding a way to cheat the timeline and save Cole. Every emotional thread lands beautifully. It's rare for a time travel finale to be airtight and heartfelt, but this one absolutely is. An Enemy of Fate, Fringe. For a show that started as a weird science procedural and evolved into an emotional multiverse epic, Fringe delivers a finale worthy of all its evolution. An Enemy of Fate brings the fight with the Observers to a desperate climax as the team races to execute a plan that hinges on sacrifice and trust. Walter's decision to step into the future with Michael is a heartbreaking goodbye that feels like the right ending for his character. And the final scene with Peter receiving that white tulip is pure perfection. The finale celebrates everything the show did best. All Good Things, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Not many long-running shows can say their finale is also one of their best episodes, but TNG absolutely can. All Good Things gives Captain Picard one final challenge as he jumps between past, present, and future to stop the temporal anomaly threatening to destroy humanity. It's nostalgic without being fan-servicey, emotional without being sentimental, and deeply clever in a way that feels quintessentially Trek. But the moment fans still talk about is the closing poker scene, Picard finally joining his crew. It's elegant, uplifting, and widely considered one of TV's greatest finales, period. What You Leave Behind, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. DS9 spent 7 seasons exploring war, politics, and moral gray areas, so its finale had a lot to resolve. What You Leave Behind does exactly that, delivering an epic conclusion to the Dominion War while giving its enormous ensemble meaningful farewells. The battles are spectacular, but it's the personal moments that elevate the episode, like Kira and Odo's goodbye, Jake gazing out the window at the wormhole, and Sisko's ascension as the emissary, which is both triumphant and heartbreaking. The title of the episode is perfect. DS9 wasn't about a neat ending, but about legacy. And it remains one of the most emotionally rich finales in the franchise. The Book of Nora, The Leftovers. Instead of giving us answers, The Leftovers finale delivers something more vulnerable. The episode follows Nora as she goes through the machine meant to replicate the departure, and then abruptly cuts to years later, where she's living alone in rural Australia. When Kevin finally finds her, Nora tells him about her time in an alternate reality populated only by the departed 2%. But the episode never confirms whether her story is true, because the mystery of the departure isn't the point. the connection between Nora and Kevin is. The Book of Nora is a masterpiece of quiet sci-fi, a finale so ambiguous that it lingers for years. Final hour, Continuum. Continuum ends on one of the most bittersweet notes in sci-fi. In Final Hour, Kira finally completes her mission and succeeds in creating a better future, but at the heartbreaking cost of never returning to the life she left or to her son, Sam. When she arrives back in the future, she sees Sam happy and safe, but with another version of Kira already in his life. It's beautiful yet brutal. Kira saved the world, even if it meant losing her place in it. The finale fully embraces the show's core themes of sacrifice and destiny. It hurts, but in a way that feels profoundly right. Return 0, Person of Interest. Person of Interest went out on an absolute high note with Return 0, a finale that balances action, emotion, and philosophy. As Team Machine wage their final war against Samaritan, Reese and Finch face the consequences of everything they've built. Reese's decision to sacrifice himself to save Finch is one of the most heroic and heartbreaking endings in modern sci-fi. And the Machine's final monologue, delivered with Root's voice, wraps the story in a surprisingly warm way. It's not flashy or overblown, it's thoughtful, meaningful, and perfectly in tune with the show's evolution from procedural to cyberpunk tragedy. Just Another Day, Eureka. Eureka's finale is exactly what the show always was: heartfelt, quirky, and quietly profound. Just Another Day sends Eureka into chaos when wormholes threaten to rip the town apart. But instead of leaning on spectacle, the episode focuses on the connection between Jack Carter and the community he stumbled into and grew to love. Jack's trip through the wormhole is a love letter to fans, and that final scene of Jack and Zoe seeing themselves driving into Eureka for the first time as they are leaving town brings everything full circle. It's a warm hug of a finale, proving that sci-fi doesn't need to be dark to be impactful. Protocol Omega, Travelers. Travelers may have ended earlier than fans hoped, but this episode still delivers one of the smartest finales ever crafted. With the director abandoning their timeline, Grant makes one last desperate play. He sends his consciousness back into his host's younger body, hoping to trigger a ripple effect that resets the future and kickstarts version 2 of the Traveler program. It's tragic, hopeful, and wildly ambitious, walking the perfect line between closure and possibility. Protocol Omega is that rare finale that works both as a satisfying ending and a soft reboot fans can imagine continuing forever. Honorable mentions. Before we wrap, here are a few more absolutely amazing sci-fi finales. Legion closed out its mind-bending run with a psychedelic time travel reset that somehow made emotional sense despite 3 seasons of glorious chaos. Orphan Black delivered a heartfelt goodbye to the Clone Club, giving each sister closure while celebrating the found family spirit that made the show special from day one. Devs ended with a finale that stuck with viewers not because of spectacle, but because of its existential, heady reflection on choice and free will. Killjoys wrapped up with a finale that balanced action, humor, heart, and payoff, proving that sometimes sci-fi can have a genuinely fun and satisfying ending without losing emotional depth. And Warehouse 13 gave fans a love letter of a finale episode. Warm, nostalgic, and packed with character-focused moments that reminded everyone why the show was such a joy in the first place. Blake 7. Few finales are as shocking as this one. For 4 seasons, fans watched Raj Blake and his rebel crew fight tyranny across the galaxy. But the finale twists that entire legacy into one of the bleakest endings in sci-fi. When Avon finally reunites with Blake, he wrongly believes that Blake has betrayed him. Avon kills him, the Federation troopers storm in, and the rest of the crew is gunned down in a brutal sequence. The last shot of Avon standing over the bodies is true shock ending. Dark, daring, and unforgettable, Blake is the sci-fi ending that still haunts fans decades later. Did we hit all your favorite sci-fi TV finales? Or is there an ending that you think absolutely deserves a spot on this list? Drop it in the comments below. Check out TVShowPilot.com for more deep dives into your favorite shows. And don't forget to subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel for more videos like this.